You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the June 15th meeting of the Michigan City Commission on the Social Status of African American Males. You can find information on this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
The meeting has been called to order. It's called to order the meeting of the Michigan City Commission of the Social Status of African American Male. Could we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to start with roll call. Commissioner Walter Cox.
Yeah, take your microphone.
Thank you. Here. Commissioner McConnelly, I'm sorry. Conley. Excuse me?
Conley.
Yes, yes. Commissioner Faye Moore.
Present.
Commissioner Dennis Carroll. Not here. Commissioner Tracy Tillman.
Present.
Commissioner Belinda Lee.
Present.
Commissioner Benning. Present. Commissioner McCormick.
Present.
Commissioner Fly. Not here. Commissioner Hogan. Not here. Commissioner McCullen. Not here. Commissioner Millsap. Not here. Following our agenda, I wanted to, before I go there, I wanted to, Commissioner McCormick wanted to say something. And so
Thank you. First of all, we all know that our president is having a minor procedure. We all wish him well. Hope that everything goes well with that. Also, that myself, I just want everyone here to know that I have 100% faith in our president, our officers, including our secretary, our treasurer, and our vice president. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Commissioner Lee.
Okay, just a second. Before we go there, let's go through this and then I'm gonna open it, go into discussion.
It is a point of order, ma'am.
Okay, just a moment. We're gonna follow this, our agenda, and then we'll get there. Reading of our mission statement, as Commissioner McCormick stated, our president is absent, and we want to definitely keep him in our prayers. And so he wanted me to read the mission statement, and the mission statement reads as follows. The mission of the Indiana Commission on the Social Status of Black Males is to study the social conditions of the state's Black male population, develop strategies to remedy or assist in remedying serious adversaries, and make recommendations to improve the educational, social, economic, employment, and other circumstances for Hoosiers. The commission serves policymakers and public interest groups, as well as the media, community organizations, and members of the general public. The Commissioner Hogan wanted that to be read so that we can remember what our mission is. And so please keep that in mind. And he did send that to everyone, so everyone should, well, he sent it to me, and if you don't have it, then I will definitely let him know that everyone needs that mission statement. Our May 22 meeting minutes was sent to everyone. Are there any corrections or deletions or additions?
I move that the minutes be accepted.
Second.
It has been moved that the minutes be accepted by Commissioner Cox and accepted by Commissioner Tillman. Oh, can we vote on it? Commissioner Cox. Commissioner Conley.
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Yes.
Commissioner Williams, yes. Commissioner Tillman.
Yay.
Commissioner Lee.
No.
Commissioner Benny.
Yay.
Commissioner McCormick.
Yay.
The yeas have it. And the the minutes will stand as approved as read. Our treasury
Madam
report.
Chairperson, Commissioner Lee, point of order.
Yes.
We are held at a standard for Robert's Rule of Order, and Robert's Rule of Order, newly revised, Section 4711 states under the temporary occupants of the chair. Under Section 3, it says the election of a pro tem. If either the president nor the vice president is present, the secretary or the secretary's absence or some other member may call the meeting to order, and the assembly must immediately elect a chair pro tem to preside during that session. Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised.
Commissioner Tillman.
Then with that being said, I'd like to make a motion to appoint the temporary pro chair.
I second it.
It has been moved and second. We maybe can have a vote on that. Commissioner Cox,
Yay.
Commissioner Conley,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Tillman,
Yay.
Commissioner Lee,
Yay.
Commissioner Benny,
Yay.
Commissioner McCormick.
Yay.
It has moved. It's been moved and second and voted on as the secretary to be the chair in our president's absence. Moving on to our treasury report. Commissioner Benny.
Yes, Madam Chair, I submitted by email a copy of the May 2022 Treasurer's Report. And in accordance with that, we have a ending balance of $2,098.92.
I move to accept the treasury report as written.
Second.
It has been moved and second to accept the treasury report. Our vote,
Yay.
Commissioner Conley,
Yay.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Williams, yes. Commissioner Tillman,
Yay.
Commissioner Lee, yay. Commissioner Benny,
Yay.
Commissioner McCormick.
Yay.
Our new business on our agenda is board members' roles and responsibilities. President Hogan wanted us to discuss this a little, and I pulled it from, he didn't send me anything, so I did pull it from our eMichigan City site, the duties and responsibilities on the commission. And we do have that also in our bylaws, the powers and the duties. We have it in the amended and new bylaw. So what I'm going to do is put that part on hold of the agenda and move down to our next order of business.
Madam President, I
Yes.
move that we table this discussion.
Yes. It has been, can I get a second?
Second.
Okay. It has been moved and second that we table this discussion on the rules, the responsibilities. I'm sorry, I'm looking for my.
Board
My agenda.
members' roles and responsibilities.
Okay. I'm sorry, I kind of misplaced that. Okay. Some old business is our bylaws approval. And I'd like to ask Councilwoman, Tillman to speak on the bylaws that was handed out.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I passed out to all of the commissioners that is in attendance today the amended bylaws that was originally approved bylaws by the commission that was turned over to the council attorney, Attorney Harris Law Firm, and he comprised it so that it has implemented all of the things that the commissioners had approved of, and also putting in the language that is required by law that has to go in it. So with that being said, it's not necessarily a vote. It would be nice just to go through the motions to take a final vote on the bylaws, not today. You have 30 days as of today, from today, 30 days to review this. So this can come back up at our next commissioners meeting, I believe is going to be July 14th. 13th. Unless everyone's had the opportunity prior to that date and everyone will be in the agreement and we can possibly hold a special meeting to move this along. If not, the 30 days will stand for July 13th for the commissioners to have the opportunity to review, and then we can go through the formalities of voting on it. From that stance, then I will then turn this back over to the city clerk, and we will get this filed so that it will also be presented to the city council for approval. Yes.
Will the 13th make it 30 days?
No, it would not.
Yeah.
I'd like to add something to this discussion. We've been holding on to these bylaws for over 8 months. We the majority of us that was here, we agreed on those. And if you guys are not, if you have the right to say yay or nay, but at this time, I'm moving that we accept it so we can get this moved on, so we can get this off our agenda, so we can quit dealing with this. It's been going on for 8 months. And basic changes was basically just saying that you can live in the county and serve on our board, and changing our name to the Michigan City Social Status. Those were the heart of our changes. So with that being said, I move to accept it and moving on to the council for final approval. I'm sorry.
So second.
Okay, before we second, let me just ask Councilwoman Commissioner Tillman, is the 30 days, is that something that has to be done because people?
It is a 30 days because this is actually the final, even though we approved on the things that we wanted as a commissioner for the bylaws, there was some minor tweaks in regards to the legal language that had to also be included. So I would say for the legalities that we're in good standing and that we passed this properly, that unfortunately we're going to have to wait the 30 days.
We have to push it back for a special meeting then.
That's what I said. Unless everyone has the opportunity to read it within a week, we reach out. If 2 or more reaches out to the chair after a consensus that everyone has had the opportunity to review it, we can call for a special meeting before July 13th.
Okay. Any other comments?
Excuse me.
Commissioner Cox.
Well, I'm sorry, to make it the official 30 days, it would be
But 17.
the 17th. The 15th, the July 15th, anything after July 15th.
Ms. Tillman, correct me if I'm wrong. We have up to 30 days, correct? We have
Yeah.
up to 30 days. So we can waive that. I don't understand. We have up to 30 days or we can just get it done. I'm not understanding. I'm reading our bylaws and it clearly states that we can't do something everybody has to at least know about this.
They have to be given a 30-day notice.
We was all given a 30-day notice when we first approved this, and then you also went back as our liaison. You went back to the council, and we knew this day was coming. We already knew that this was already going to happen because it just had to be done by the attorney. So I just think that we should just go ahead and get it done. But if you feel it's a legal issue or question, then I take my motion off the table.
I agree with Mr. McCormick. We have had 30-day notice. We were told in April we were going to do it. We were told in May we were going to do it.
And if I may, I
now
agree.
This is June, so we have had the 30-day notice. Only thing we haven't had was the official attorney copy. But there aren't that. I don't see any difference.
Too much of the difference of the legalities of what he put in there. Okay.
Commissioner Lee, point of order.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So I am new to this commission and I received the amendments to the bylaws on May 31st. As we read from the minutes of the previous meeting that we voted on to receive, those minutes actually said in that meeting, I requested a copy of the bylaws. I didn't receive them until May 31st. So as a point of order, I've not had 30 days to review them, right? So I read over them, but there were corrections that needed to be done within the copy that I received. And so today was the first opportunity that I've had. Today was the first opportunity that I've had to see them fully. So as according to our articles of our bylaws, it says in writing at least 30 days for all commissioners.
There's no doubt what you're saying is true, but looking at me is not going to change what I said. I said what I said, and you have a vote. Each of us carry a vote. You can vote nay. And that's just
Point of order. But we cannot overlook the law that is established on the record. We can't overlook that in our bylaws. Our bylaws cannot supersede the laws of this city, county, or state, with or without a vote by this commission.
my motion.
Not supersede those.
I re-motion. I motion that we approve the minutes. We approve the bylaws so we can just be done with this. That's my motion. It was already. If we have another second, we need to have a vote.
Okay, just a second, point of order. Commissioner, if we all agree that we want to vote on it, the majority agree, since we already had this and it was only those things that needed to be changed. It's already been changed and we had already voted on it. Can we just move to, if we have a majority that wants to vote on approving our bylaws, can we just go ahead and approve those bylaws?
You got a second?
You got it.
No, we got a second on the floor. We need to have a vote.
I was gonna say she has to respond. Hold on.
I would say, to my understanding, I would say yes, for the simple fact that because this was a process that started before we took on new members, then if we're addressing it according to way Commissioner Lee was stating it from the bylaws and from the statutes, then that means everything that we do, we would need to have to retro back from the day that she started. But these are things that has already been in place, has
Right.
already been voted upon.
Right.
And as I said, I clearly understand that we voted on it and this is what it is. We were just waiting for the attorney to draft up
Right.
to draft it up, to present it to the commissioners, which is what we're doing today.
Okay.
And other than if there was any additional tweaks that he had to put in for legal purposes, I understand that. That's why I was saying then we should do the 30 days.
But there was
But there was no changes
Okay.
to the actual bylaws that we submitted.
There's a motion on
Well,
the floor.
If that's the case, then I want to accept the motion on the floor by Commissioner McCormick and second by Commissioner Cox. So it has been moved and second that we accept the bylaws as we were given today as our bylaws. May we take a vote? Commissioner Cox,
Yay.
Commissioner Conley,
Yay.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Williams, yes. Commissioner Tillman,
Yay.
Commissioner Lee,
Abstain?
Commissioner Benning,
Yay.
Commissioner McCormick.
Yay.
The yeas have it.
And based on that vote, then the next step, I will turn this over to be placed on the city council agenda.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tim.
Alrighty, our subcommittee assignments, our education. Do we have a report from our education committee?
Yes, I'm on the subcommittee. We haven't had a chance to meet, but I was sent an email. I think everyone received the email from Mr. McCullen, and he made it clear, that we're moving along, but the mission area schools are in need of volunteers to help out with summer programs, job opportunities, and also if you want to be a coach on one of the sports programs that they have at the school, they will be accepting volunteer forms and they will reach out to you. Other than that, we've been doing a great job. We've been getting things done, and hopefully we will have a report next meeting and we can move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner McCormick. Do we have we don't have a health subcommittee at this point. Do we have a report from our subcommittee, employment subcommittee? No. At this point, we don't have a report. Do we have a report from our subcommittee, our criminal justice subcommittee?
Yes, Madam Chair. Once again, I submitted the May 2022 Criminal Justice Subcommittee report. We met on May the 26th at the Michigan City Public Library and discussed various topics to include the surge of violent crime in the Black community, prosecutors' role when it comes to policing, what the Michigan City Police Department's plan is to combat the rise of violent crime and the relationship with the community, and the body cam footage. We had a lot of very interesting and collaborative conversations with the Michigan City Police Chief Campbell, his assistant chief Jillian Ashley, and then Commissioners Tillman were present, Commissioner Walter Cox, Commissioner Fly, Commissioner McCormick, and myself. We want to specifically thank Chief Campbell for being in attendance, as well as Assistant Chief Jillian Ashley.
Councilperson there.
Brian Dabney was also there. Councilman Brian Dabney was also in attendance. But we want to thank these individuals, and especially our own Commissioner Walter Cox for being in attendance. He provided a lot of valuable insight, a lot of life experiences, and those things are going to be very detrimental in coming together with the police department to try to deal with some of the community relations that we are in so dire need of. So those are the things that we did recently. As far as new business, we sent out a letter to Prosecutor John Lake requesting him to come to become a guest speaker for our July or August social status meeting to address some issues as far as the role of the prosecutor when it comes to policing and the crime rate. Commissioner McCormick may have something to add to this.
Yes, with that being said, we know from our last administration, our last board that we had several issues come up. So with this board, I'd just like to know, how would we want to address individuals being guest speakers? Do we want to have a vote? Or would you just allow the subcommittee to bring in a guest speaker? We want everybody to be comfortable and have, basically ask all of our permission instead of just bringing somebody in without letting no one know what's going on.
Or do you feel like we need to bring the person that we have in mind to be a guest speaker and then have a motion to accept that person?
Well, in the past, we just, someone would say who they wanted to bring in as a speaker and let the chairman know. And then the chairman would usually send out an email and ask, just send out an email and ask if this was okay with everybody. And then,
Is everyone okay with that? We also are asking for Chief Campbell or one of his or an agent of his to come and speak also, not the same day, it will be the following month. So if everybody's okay with that, I'd just like for everybody to be on the record with it.
So is everyone okay with having Chief Campbell come and speak?
Certainly,
Okay.
yes, and each,
Are
And-
we
and
okay
John
with
Lake.
John Lake?
Both of them, John Lake, the county prosecuting attorney, and Mr. Campbell,
I thought.
Chief Campbell.
I thought the lake would be coming to us, on our commission, subcommittee.
Oh, no, we voted to, we already said that remember we said we're gonna invite them to come to our meeting and speak and listen to everybody's position instead of doing things based on hearsay or assumptions. So,
So all in favor of having the police chief Campbell, Mr. Lake, and who was your third person? Or were those the two coming to our meeting to speak? All in favor, yay?
yay.
yay,
All opposed, nay?
Abstain.
The yays have it.
I also want to just add one other note. Some of the ideas that we brought up, Mr. Cox, thank you. You did an awesome job. Your experience, your life experience shed a lot of light on things that's going on. And we're trying to improve the relationship with the police department and the community. We was trying to figure out ways to implement that and get that done. One of the things that just kind of disturbed me is that we had an elected official who thinks that it's okay, that one of the ways they tried to improve the relationship was to bring a police officer in his K-9 unit, his K-9 partner, to neighborhoods and walk around. To me, I was offended, and several other people was offended. We're not in Montgomery, Alabama in 1963. I'd rather have communications with individuals and not a dog. I don't want to see a dog around me. We've seen dogs at our polling places. We've seen dogs biting us everywhere in the world. We don't need to see that. We need to have an open dialogue, open discussion on what we can do to improve that. I was just offended by it. I just want to make a record of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner McCormick. And I think those are things that as our police chief, Dion, when he comes, things, if that had not been mentioned, that's one of the things that can definitely be brought up. And Mr. Cox, of course, I hear your stories all the time, so I can attest that his stories are great. And so, thank you.
Grab the policeman on the bicycle.
Okay.
I said we're on foot, making
Okay.
contact, interacting with kids,
Mhm.
and vice versa. Not just kids, but with the community as a whole,
Correct.
so they can get the proper feedback from the police. Nobody's trying to make enemies.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm sorry. I won't repeat anything though.
Mic check.
Anyway, our whole thing was trying to establish the proper relationships between the community and the police.
Good.
And other thing was figuring out a way to put the officers in the community, living there, provide them housing so they can take a squad car home with them SUVs they drive, park it in their driveway in front of the house. That makes a positive police presence right there. But
I just want to add to that, and I think that's very important what you said. But one of the things that our police chief did is he sat back and he listened. He took a lot of notes. He didn't really entertain like some of the topics, but he did take a lot of notes. And then at the very end, he did articulate to us back everything that we had discussed in our meeting. He discussed it back to us so that he can go back and digest it and try to implement some of these things and try to work with us as a community. So I think that was I thought that was very important that
Yes,
I recognize that.
Also, the assistant,
Miss Ashley.
Miss Ashley, she did a fantastic job in equating everything in her own words and what she thought circumventing policy and what have you. And I think it should be very easy to work with.
Agreed. I agree with
I
that.
agree with that.
And just one last note, at some point, we come up with all these ideas. At some point, leadership needs to start implementing these things. And because we didn't reinvent the wheel or nothing. You was talking about events that happened in the 60s, and we still doing it here in 2022. So it just need to be implemented, and we need enforcement. So
We need to bring Perry in here
thank you.
and put the ball in his court as well. And we move from there.
Commissioner Tillman.
I would just like to add on to what Commissioner Benny was indicating in regards to Chief Campbell taking those and non-responsive, but listening to what everyone's concerns were, whether it's as a community or with individual wards. One of the things that was addressed was in regards to the gun violence in our community. And during the State of the Union, he addressed these statistics of the gun violence that was within, I want to say 5 areas within the city. I posed a question in regards to implementing the shot spotters. And to my understanding, I have been in communications with Chief Campbell that this is something that I hope in the very near future that this will be one of the things that will be implemented. We're waiting for a presentation to come forth, and then we'll also be presented. They'll be presenting this with the council committee that is on the ARP committee regarding fundings and how to move forward to sustain this long term.
Thank you.
Chairwoman? Yeah. Commissioner Lee, one thing that Mr. Cox mentioned is that he thought it was a good idea that perhaps that we should have police officers in our community that not only come through our community, but live in our community. So I just wanted to bring notification that there is funding from the Department of Housing and Urban Development that covers the police officer next door program. It's a funded program that offers housing single family homes in what is called revitalization areas. And LaPorte County just happens to be one of those areas. But it's not only for police officers, it's also for school teachers and pre-K. Let me list.
Firefighters.
It's for law enforcement officers, teachers, fire and emergency medical technicians. And a lot of people are unaware of that when they're home shopping for the very first time. And so if we continue to reiterate those things to our police department that these funds are available so police officers can live in our communities, I think it would be also an excellent resource recruiting tool.
I first certainly agree with that. And I explained to them that I'd watched that program put into effect and used to a great extent in Washington, D.C. and in parts of Newark, New Jersey. And Michigan City is a microcosm, of those places. So if it worked in those big places, I know it'd be a great success here.
There was an ARP meeting that I went to workshop yesterday, held down here yesterday, and they brought that up. That's been discussed. It's in the there are discussions going on with that. I just think that I hope that it works, but I don't see that it will work. We need to find a way to promote and keep our young people when they get out of high school for however long, pay for them to go to school, and we need community policing. We need to see young people that's been here all their lives police here. We need people that's here, because right now people are just running away and they're taking our vehicles and running the mileage up on it and going from Porter County, South Bend, wherever they stand at. I don't see that being an incentive for them to come here. Unless we're gonna move them all to one side to Sheridan Beach.
That's not gonna happen.
Okay.
But I think a cadet program would be very important. Start these kids out at 15, 16 years old and put them in a cadet program and put a few coins in their pockets and give them more responsibilities, not like just ride along, but they can direct groups and crowds, do a lot of things. They can mentor kids younger than them. But then they become a presence and they're from the community. Now, they'll be a lot more greatly incentivized because they know the area and it's home. It's home. And that should allow us to keep them.
This is great conversation, and I think that this is what needs to happen. And as we have these speakers, we definitely need to make sure that we bring these up and even have plans to implement these things. So we're going to keep moving on. Our next subcommittee, social factors. We did have a meeting May 17th. Myself, Commissioner Moore, and Commissioner Lee were present. We talked about holding workshops for age groups of two age groups of young men. One workshop would be for the 13 to 17-year-olds, and the other would be for the 18 to 24-year-olds. And the topics for that, the first age group, 13 through 7, would be how to fill out job applications and how to dress for success. And Commissioner Lee mentioned to us that the term dress for success could not be used because it is trademarked. So we would, we understand that, but we just want to definitely make sure that our kids are understanding how to dress for success. We don't have to name anything. The topics that would be discussed in the workshops for the 18 to 24 years old are what kind of activities they would like to see Michigan City have that is geared toward their age group. And I mentioned that this would be, I would like to see more men in these different workshops. Our young men see women all the time, but I would like to see more men in these workshops as we begin to give those workshops. This is the first time that we're bringing it up to the commission. We really haven't sat down and figured it totally out how these workshops would work. We talked about funding, getting funding from various entities to fund the workshops was also discussed, where the commission wouldn't have to give all the money for these different workshops.
Just a little food for thought, just to bring back Chief Campbell. You all may be aware of the Bridge to Manhood program. It's a program that's been going on, and it initiated through the Circuit Court in collaboration with Michigan City Schools. And they started out from, I think, around age 12 all the way up to 18 and maybe a little older. But he has a program that's implemented, and it really targets a lot of the topics that you were talking about. So you may want to get with him and maybe try to collaborate something with the program that he already has implemented.
Okay, I think that
is CHIP, right? CHIP. And then I just have one question for social factors. Has anybody reached out to the youth commission, or do we even still have a youth commission in the city?
I'm not sure.
Ms.
We don't
Tillman?
have one. Commissioner Moore, can you answer that?
We have Mr. Patrick, I believe, used to be the president. So can you answer that for us?
Okay, when we get to public, we'll get to that. Just a second.
It's just a question. Is there a youth commission?
You can answer that?
Wow.
Okay, go ahead. You have to come to the mic, sir.
Introduce yourself, please.
Could you state your name?
I've done that enough in the military. Nathan Patrick, Commissioner, Michigan City Housing Authority. I was the chairman of the Michigan City Youth Commission, and it's kind of being restructured, wouldn't you say, Councilwoman? It's funny you all mentioned that, because I'm going to be reaching out to Councilman Fitzpatrick to kind of see if we can get that show back on the road. It was kind of left. We were kind of disbanded during COVID. Believe it or not as much as people say they want to work with young people, their actions don't show it. But so we're gonna try to get that back going.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next matter on our agenda is the good of the order, Commissioners Roundtable.
May I?
Okay, just before you go, I just wanted to say something to kind of piggyback on some of the things you all were saying. The Juvenile Service Center and I believe United Way, they had a program that it was the DMC, where the officers came from ages 13 to 18. And we had almost 20 young kids there, young adults there. And we only had one young lady out of there. But we asked for the LaPorte County Police and Sheriff's Department, I believe, and Michigan City. And Michigan City was the only ones that showed up. And so I do like to thank our Dion, Chief of Police. Thank you, y'all. Okay, Chief of Police Campbell and our Assistant Chief, because they were there, and it was like 7 or 8 officers that came, and they did role play with the kids, and the kids really enjoyed it. So I would definitely like to keep seeing this type of thing going, even if we have to do a partnership with the Juvenile Service Center and things like that. And definitely this young man with the youth department to get these things, because it's one thing for us to sit here and have this meeting and to talk about it. We have to get these things implemented and start doing it. So I think we're on a good start. I hope I'm not alone, but I think that we're on a good start. The subcommittees are meeting and things are going. Commissioner McCormick.
I just have a gripe with the county right now. Some of you may not know Juneteenth is around the corner. And again, for the second year in a row, county workers will have to work on Monday. These are things that it's frustrating. And I ask myself, am I more frustrated with the people that's in the county that's ignoring us, or the people that look like me that should be saying something and they won't? At some point, the topic of people conversation shouldn't be what Rodney McCormick's doing. The topic should be what we can do that make our neighborhoods and our community and the people better in our community. Because if you follow Rodney McCormick, I don't care about me. I care about our community. I care about our people. There's no way that we should allow this to go unaddressed. We have the Democratic Party who's in control. Dr. Cora was in there, Shaw, Sheila. These individuals, for some reason, they ignore some of this stuff. It's not a swipe at anybody, but it seems like our value only becomes important to them when it comes election day, when they want us to vote for just them. At some point, we, ministers, myself, anybody else that want to call NAACP, anybody want to call themselves a leader in this community, we all need to stand in one accord on this issue, on these issues that's plaguing the social ills in our community. You don't have to like me. We just have to agree that things need to change. And that's what we should do. And we should make a change. Quit worrying about what Rodney's doing. This county needs to be held accountable for the systemic racism that has been going on for years. It needs to be addressed, dealt with. And going to change that is throughout the process called voting. Quit voting for the same individual who has done nothing but caused the harm that's constantly pulling the scab off the pain and the suffering that we've been going through. I have nothing else to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. We're going to do a roundtable and come to everyone. Thank you, Commissioner Commissioner Benny.
Thank you. I'm kind of disturbed, I am disturbed at the fact that we're not honoring Juneteenth also in the county. I feel that some people's concerns, some people's problems are not other people's concerns. And to me, this is something that we should be implementing. It was designated as a federal holiday by the president last year. And as far as that goes, I feel like, we should be honoring it across the country. The only thing I really want to say is that as an African-American female, professional female on this board, I know that this is my first time on the board. I was appointed on the board back in December, attended the first meeting, I think in January, attended the first meeting in February. And I had heard about some of the problems that had been going on, but I feel like we have been making some progress. I know that we're going to have ups and downs on this commission, but again, as an African-American female, I feel that it is a privilege to be on this board. It's not an entitlement. I only can do so much to help the people that we serve, the African-American boys and men that we try to serve and help and assist. But I can't be an African-American man. So I'm going to stay in my lane and understand that it is a privilege to be on this board as an African-American female, not an entitlement. Thank you.
Commissioner Lee.
For the good of the order is what it is. For the good of the order is the title under which we're having this commissioners roundtable as part of our agenda. And I do think that it is very important that we continue to remember that it is our community that we need to serve. And I think, so my very first meeting was in May. I'll speak up. I'm struggling a little bit. My very first meeting to this commission was in May. And during that meeting, I made a recommendation that we partner in the community to get some things done. And during that meeting, it was stated by City Councilwoman Tillman, who's Commissioner Tillman, very sorry, that we should do something for Father's Day. And during that time, we had an open discussion about partnering with Mr. Fly and Mr. Fly's organization. However, after that discussion, there was no motion by any member of this commission to motion that we partner with him. We had a discussion, but there was no motion made. And so it's important that we do partner. It is important. But what that looks like when we partner has to be clearly defined. And that definition has to come from the members of this commission. And so because I am new, I read over the previous minutes and the agenda, and I am still trying to understand on today, June 15th, what has this commission accomplished during the previous 5 months as a commission, not as individuals, but as a commission? What have we put our name on and said, this is what we're going to do in our community to show our community that we are here to service African-American males and their families? Because if we don't address those issues soon, then we're looking at almost the entire year where nothing has been accomplished. And I don't want to be judgmental, but I have to be honest and realistic. And it's not my preview and my survey is not personal. It is an observation from a community standpoint because I was a community member before I became a commissioner.
Excuse me, I don't want to cut you up, but we do have 5 other people that we have to get to, and we want to talk to the young man if he's going to come back, and we do have someone in the audience.
Point of order, though, I used less than 47 seconds. I yield.
Thank you. Commissioner Tillman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In regards to, I just lost my train of thought, but it happens sometimes. One of the things that I did want to bring to everyone's attention is that the Michigan City Soul Steppers is presenting their 15th annual Show Up and Show Out in 3D.
All right.
Which would be Saturday, June 25th, 2022. This is the flyer here. The host MC is Carlos Smith of the North Chicago Crazy Riot Show. Soul Steppers event raffles, concessions, family fun, and entertainment. Tickets $10 in advance, $15 at the door. Children 5 and under are free. They are a pillar. The Soul Steppers, I commend you, Ms. Lynn Isbell.
Yes.
Is a pillar in our community. And within this group, there are 14 African-American young men that are drummers. And to them, I commend you for your dedication and your commitment. She does set a standard that they all adhere to. So this is something that is positive, that is going on in our community. And I would like to know anyone that does have access to the Social Status Facebook page or social media, if I can turn this over for this to be posted if it's not on there already.
Right. Commissioner McCormick, I'll give that to him.
And then the other thing that will be forthcoming, I wish Commissioner McCullum was here, but in regards to the Michigan City Area Schools Back to School rally that they do every year, last year, the Michigan City LaPorte County Prosecuting Attorney's Office 4D Child Support Office, which I am the 4D Child Support Executive Liaison, we partnered with the Social Status. And so moving forward, I will reach out to our prosecuting attorney to see, along with the commission, if this is something we would like to engage in partnership again for this year's rally.
Thank you. Commissioner Moore.
Yes, thank you for bringing up the back to school rally. I am on the back to school rally committee, and we need all the partners that we can get. Thank you very much. And I wanted to yield my time to Commissioner Tillman to finish, Lee to finish her statement.
I have to be recognized by the chair, Chair Pro Tem.
You have the floor.
Thank you. So as I was stating, so I think it's important that we continue to partner, but that partnership has to be defined. And I'm looking for a way for us to define that, because it's important for us to work within our committees and our subcommittees in order to get those things done. And we have to work as a team. And I'm looking forward to partnering with anyone and everyone within this commission in order for us to get things done. But we have to set an agenda that is measurable. We have to set things that are measurable. And that is part of our state's statute under which we were formed, that we have to have things that are measurable, not just things that we're doing. They have to be measurable. They have to be shown as a success. And like I said before, if we don't show that we are successful, then we look like a failure. And I just don't want that. 6 months into the year, I'm still waiting for us to have a clear view of what we're going to do as a commission, because I don't know what that is. And like I said, I'm new. I don't know what that is, and I'm just waiting.
Okay. Well, we thank you, Commissioner Lee, and we will definitely try to get you all of those questions answered for you, Commissioner Conley.
Thank you. I agree with Commissioner Lee that I'm rather new also. So I'm just kind of like listening and observing. But I too think that we should really set a goal, and we should really focus on something that we can accomplish within the year. Because I'm new and I still think that I hear good ideas being put out and, you know, things that people want to accomplish. And I'm looking forward to working with anyone where I can fit in to help achieve those goals that are measurable.
Thank you. Commissioner Cox.
I'll be very brief. Problem with measuring success in a commission like this is that the commission does not entail all the necessary ingredients to be successful in certain items. The first thing I would do is get rid of that damn Roberts. If it was me, that would be gone. We had that problem with SNCC back in the 60s and what have you. We got it ready, we dissolved that, and all of a sudden, successes began to happen. You know, not just baby steps, leaps and bounds. The National Black United Front, same thing. When it came in there and they were trying to act like they're real politicians and wanted to go by this rule and that rule and what have you, we disbanded. And all of a sudden, successes began to happen. The Republican New Africa, same thing. Right? You know, so what I'm saying is we might have to just resort back to basics. I know by our bylaws we have to use Roberts, but there's got to be some way to bend it because ain't nobody at this table named Robert. I end up.
Thank you. And I just wanted to say this last thing. I'm new also, and I have seen growth, and I have seen where the subcommittees are meeting, we are doing it, and it does take some time, but I have seen growth. And so I wanted to end on that.
Agreed.
I just want to say it's called a work in progress.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Public comment. State your name.
Nathan Patrick. I am not going to tell you all my official titles because today I'm an African American man coming before you today. And I'm going to read to you a statement that I will be reading tonight at the county commissioners meeting that I would hope that all of you would be in attendance. And then I'll be out of your hair. General Order Number 3. The people are informed that in accordance with a proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves, and the connection heretofore existing between them become that between employer and hired labor, the freed are advised to remain at their present homes and work for wages. They're informed that they will not be allowed to collect military posts and that they will not be supported in idleness either there or elsewhere. That's General Order Number 3. On June 19, 1865, General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, to deliver a message via General Order Number 3 to say all slaves are free. To tell of the Emancipation Proclamation that was signed into law January 1, 1863, and didn't reach Texas until 2.5 years later, June 19, 1865. The general's arrival, I guess nobody opened up that email and they didn't see that. In 1980, Texas was the first state to declare it a holiday, with now 47 states recognizing it as well as the District of Columbia. That's Juneteenth. LaPorte County has 112,390 people in it, according to the last U.S. Census, out of which 11.6% of that number is African American. That is 12,363. Out of that number, most of that population are crammed into what we call the projects. That is conversation for a different day. We have no representation on the county council. We have no representation in the commissioner's office. I reached out to one of the commissioners and asked a question. Is the county closed for Juneteenth? And the reply was this. Technically, yes, as the 19th is a Sunday. County offices are open that Friday and Monday, though. This commissioner also said, I don't believe the county has officially taken any steps to recognize Juneteenth. The bottom line is this. Last year, the 4th of July was on a Sunday and was recognized on a Monday, and the county was closed. I know this because I worked for the county at that time. July 4th is the Independence Day and the signing of the Declaration of Independence, August 2nd, 1776. Yet freedom and independence didn't come for African Americans until 89 years later. Think about that. And now we have a day to celebrate that remembrance of freedom, and we still must take steps to have that freedom recognized on a federal holiday. I strongly urge the decision makers of this county to do the right thing and consider us and do right by us, do right by all. Whatever happened to liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Patrick. And what time is that meeting tonight?
6 p.m. County Complex.
Okay.
Public comments will be at the very beginning also.
Okay. State your name, please.
This is Tommy Kolovic from 1316 Ohio Street. I just want to wish all the dads a happy Father's Day Sunday. I also want to wish all the single moms happy Father's Day too, because they fill both roles.
Well, thank you, sir.
I also I sent an email to Mayor Perry earlier just before the meeting that the Board of Works meeting is scheduled for 8:30 on Monday, but I requested he postpones the meeting one day, Tuesday, because City Hall should be closed to honor the Juneteenth holiday. And the garbage day is going to be a day late because of the holiday. And I also want to announce that it's going to be kind of a special day on Monday too. At 10 p.m., Governor Holcomb is going to be visiting Michigan City for the groundbreaking of the South Shore new South Shore station. There's going to be a lot of the other dignitaries. I think Congressman Mervan is going to might be here, and I think all the other mayors and all the other state representatives and state senators will be here. So I think I just wanted to pass that along. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that information. Thank you. And we thank you for standing in.
That's going to be at 10 o'clock Monday. He's going to be here.
We thank you for standing in solidarity with us.
Move for adjournment.
Second.
I move for adjournment. Thank you.
Second.
All right. Our next meeting will be Wednesday, July 13th. Oh, you're going to